We good, King? All right, we live. Premium P Show. A3C. I had to reach out to the one and only, my brother, a long time. Actually, you've been on the show. You know what's so funny? We live in a world today where so many people will probably be like, oh, he has Raymond Santana on now. No, we've been had Raymond Santana on. All the way when you think back to the days of the Combat Jack show. Mm-hmm. I remember when he wanted to tell the story. And it's crazy. And you know, we won't spend a lot of time. We sat down before and there's interviews of your history and growing up and everything. But when you think back of, there was already a documentary out that I actually really liked. And I'm, you know, what's his name? Ken Burns. And I remember when that came out, I was showing people about the Central Park Five and how they, put that documentary out. Mm-hmm. It's crazy for people who see when they see us, and we'll get to that, that some of them probably didn't even know that documentary was out.
That's true.
And the crazy thing is, you even got a second chance, I feel like, to, and this is what blows my mind, I want you to explain to the people, is that I need help pronouncing her last name. I'm a name butcher, but Ava.
Or DuVernay.
Yeah. You literally put something on Twitter.
Yeah.
Like, she was like, yo, what should I do my next film as? And Raymond Santana wrote Central Park 5.
Yeah.
Like, tell the story. Now, so here, what made you do that, being that you already had a documentary? What's the thoughts that they can make one that was better? Like, you know what I mean? What went through your mind?
Basically, when we got the doc, the doc was able to give us back our voices, right, and give us that platform that we can reach out and we can start to stand on our own, right, and it became the process. It started the process of us fighting the system back, and so, when you fight against a system that's so big and it's so complex, and you got to figure out different methods of how you can win each battle, and so for me that was the progression. Like, here was this doc was running this course, it was doing well, but we still need another medium to continuously keep the battle, keep the pressure on the system, and on the city. And so I went to go see Selma one day, and at the time I was married, so I was watching Selma with my ex-wife, and I seen the scene of Dr. King when Loretta's confronting him about the women in his life. And at that moment, I'm watching the scene, and I'm like, who has the nerve to put this in the film, right? Dr. King is an icon. He's our idol. We idolize this man, and I was just like, for a person to put this scene in here, which showed that he was also a human being, right? And I said, this person is not afraid to tell the truth. And that's how I started with researching Ava DuVernay. And I started seeing the other films that she had and stuff like that. And so I followed her on Twitter first. And she followed me back. And I was like, okay, this is how this is going to be the start right here.
Shoot my shot.
Yeah. And so that's exactly what happened. It came a point that I just was like, you know what? I just got to shoot my shot. And I shot the tweet out, and she retweeted it at first. And so when she retweeted it, I was like, oh, I'm in there now. Like, it's gonna happen. And then she slid in my DM and she sent me a message, and she was just like, well, who has the rights to your film? And I said, nobody. We're waiting on you. And so she said, okay, well, I'll be up in New York in about a month. Can we have dinner? And I was like, yeah. But I knew at that moment I had it. And so.
But why do you say that?
Because the interest. I knew that the interest of the story was going to pull, because we just came off this doc, and the doc was pretty big. But now it was time to take it to the next level, which would have been a feature film. And she was the perfect person to tell the story. And so we sat down for dinner, and it's at that moment.
Just you and her?
Just me and her. And it's at that moment that I put everything on the table. And I said, this is the moment that she has to walk away from this table saying that she's doing this film. And at the end of the conversation, her last question was, well, can I meet some of the other fellas? And I was like, yeah, this is it. This is it right here. So I knew I had it.
How do you go back and translate it to the other 5, meaning other 4,
It was the same process as I done it before, with the doc. So I call each person individually and say, listen, this is the person who I've been talking to, and I think this is the perfect person that could tell our story. And if you know her work, then you understand where I'm coming from. If you don't, then go back and look at some of her work, and then you can see the connection as where I'm going with it. And I told the guys, I said, at the end of the day, this is about preserving the legacy. You know what I'm saying? And so you just can't give this project to anybody, because there were several people who asked to do the film, and I wanted whoever's gonna handle this to be serious, right? This is like cold red, cold orange, like all hands on deck. This is a serious topic, and it was time for us to tell our narrative, and we just couldn't get that to anybody.
It's crazy because when I think about it, the doc was so inspiring, the first one.
Yeah.
And even your story, obviously being part of the Central Park Five, now the Exonerated Five, and thinking about how many people were like, yo, that's crazy that they did time for a crime that they didn't commit. It was that, again, like I said, the Ken Burns document to me was very special. Then all of a sudden, like I said, Ava gets together with you and come out with When They See Us. It's amazing to me of how the world, then back opened to you. It's like you become where people care for the subject, care for the story. Oprah Winfrey interviewed you and put it on her channels. Yeah. People are excited to take pictures with you. It's like your life kind of changed again. Yeah,
definitely. It's next level.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Is it something that you imagine that could happen? If
No. If you would have told me that this is where we would be right now in 2019, I probably would have laughed, because I couldn't see that far. But I knew that the motivation was that we had to fight the system, and the system was not trying to apologize. It wasn't trying to settle no money with us. It wasn't even trying to acknowledge that we were innocent. And so every day I wake up figuring out, how can we win? How can we win? So this was just another step.
A lot of people speak about Trump and him not wanting to apologize. That shit actually made it to him. You know what I mean? That's how powerful social media is.
Yeah.
You think about it, even When They See Us, winning an Emmy, that was through social media. That's a big key for people to take away that are listening, is that people shoot their shot every day. Some hit the rim, you know what I mean? Some hit the backboard, some don't even make it. But real talk, if you know how to move and you have the right backends or support to your shot, it's crazy to me what social media could do. I remember, let's go back, I say this all the time, even, shouts to A King, but, you think about the Combat Jack show. I remember when we didn't have a studio to tape out of, and because they were doing work on PNC, and Combat threw out a tweet, and this fucking Fuckyberg was a great guy, now at the time, but it was Chris Morrow who was like, yo, I got a spot, and I always say, there could have been a possibility where maybe we didn't tape for a while, maybe we did take a break, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And
he was so scared that 3 months, or I'm sorry, that 1 month that they said could have turned into 3-4 months. So it is amazing to me how social media, literally, it's weird. Got you an Emmy for When They See Us. Literally got you to meet Oprah. You never met Oprah before.
No, it's Oprah's the reason why we call the Exonerated Five now.
Yeah, explain that to the people.
It's just Oprah. The Central Park Five is a title that came from Senator Bill Perkins, right? They do these things where incidents happen, and they just give you this name with the number attached to it, and so we had embraced that name, but also the media had a hold of that name also. So they would put that negative aspect to it, you know what I'm saying? And so, Oprah knew about that. And so now when we get to see her and we get to sit down and talk to her, Oprah just pulls out her wand and she's like, her wand or her sword. And she's like, from this moment forward, you guys will never be known as the Central Park Five ever again. From this moment forward, you'll be known as the Exonerated Five. And it's just like that. As soon as she said it, it is what it is. And now people can sit there and say, "Oh, the Central Park Five," and somebody in the crowd would stop and say, "No, that's the Exonerated Five."
Did you give her a hug when you seen her?
Yeah.
She smelled good.
I wasn't. That's Oprah, man. It's.
And I'm just wondering.
Sure.
I'm just wondering. Respect.
No, definitely. But the funny thing was that when I first met her, the first thing she told me was, she said, "Hey," I was sitting at a table, and she came over and she was like, "Raymond, where's my shirt?" And I was like, "Oh, I got your shirt. I brought it with me." That was the first thing she asked about. And so I knew, I was like, wow, my shirt popping.
Yeah. Here's another thing too. So for those who may not know, but you always had a big love for streetwear. Started your own brand called Park Madison NYC.
Yeah.
Right. Came up with a couple designs. Dope. I love the angels, the wings, and there's always been some dope stuff. But I feel like even when you started moving along with When They See Us, you know, you think about that. That propelled your clothing brand.
Oh, definitely.
How many
100%.
orders you doing? Diamond D, what up, baby?
Oh, Diamond in the building.
You know, when you did that, how did that do to your clothing brand?
You know, when I first designed, because I first designed this T-shirt, right, which is real simple, but it's effective. And I was in LA with Ava, and I showed it to her, and she said, "Oh, that's your winner right there." And so she said, "Well, how many shirts you printed up?" And I said, 1,000. And she said, "That's not enough. You need to print at least 5,000 shirts." And I was literally like, "Hey, you bugging? I'm not printing no 5,000 shirts. You crazy?" And then I got to sit on that product. And she was like, "I'm telling you, print it up." And I said, "No, I didn't listen." I come back to New York. I put it on the site. When They See Us drops, the 1,000 shirts was gone in like 2 days. And so after that, we was playing catch up. And literally, like, my shirt is now, you know, South Africa, Brazil, Amsterdam, London. I mean, it's global now, the shirt itself. And for now, and then, you know, there was a bunch of bootlegs that came out of my shirt, and we wound up shutting down like maybe 50 companies that were trying to bootleg my shirt. Shout out to Asia, that's my attorney. And so what we started doing was we started saying, you know, if it doesn't say Park and Madison on the sleeve, then you got a bootleg shirt. And even that has taken a life of its own. So if you're wearing my shirt in the street and somebody stops you, they're going to look at the sleeve to see if it's real.
That's classic, man. Did you know that, like, was Netflix the only people to take the you know, When They See Us?
No, it was a bidding war in the beginning. Netflix was the one who came in and just shut everybody down. Because it was several companies that were in the running to try to have us come to their station, and Netflix just came in and was like, "Nope, whatever you need, Ava, that's it. We ain't got to talk no more."
It's crazy because they have it's 4 parts, right?
Yeah.
And I remember when I just started to watch it. There's a lot of people I know, speakers, a lot of people that said they couldn't watch it yet. You know, I'm not sure how people feel who are listening, but there was people who could. You know, you have to get up to being able to watch it.
Yeah.
A lot of people, you know, it's tough to watch what happened to you guys and how that happened so many years ago. But I remember, like, I was like, the 4 parts was cool, but it had me so interested to move to the next one. So I was like, was like, damn, I wish this was just one, because now it's like I'm going to the next one. But I was like, okay, I guess they got me, because it had me, like, you know, really addicted to what was going to happen next. And the crazy thing is, the actors that played in that When They See Us, to me, I'm being honest with you, impressed the shit out of me. Because, all right, I knew they were going to make When They See Us, you know. I hit you, you know, I remember with De Niro and all this other stuff when you were saying, no, they're going to make this thing. And I don't know who they got. It's not like they started casting tremendous big people. So you don't know what it could be. You know, it could be a lot of people you don't know of.
Yeah.
And it was that. And the crazy thing is the acting was insane. By the kids, especially, even, what's his name that you were in Temple with?
Oh, Jharrel Jerome.
I mean, that kid, he's like a ladies' man now. But won an Emmy. You know, he's from the Bronx, man. Shouts to BX, man.
Yeah, it's Dominican.
Yeah, you know.
Youngest kid to ever win an Emmy.
Really?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, when I saw him in Temple, I was like, "Where's the Emmy? You didn't bring it?" Like, if that was me, that would have traveled me for the next 2 weeks.
You'd be drinking.
It'd have been sitting right here on the table right now.
Drinking Henny out of that.
Yeah. For real.
I mean, you know, but it would
have had a social media page and everything.
even the kid who played even the way when they made like the necklace hit him, but he really was the walkie-talkie.
Yeah.
I mean, that kid played a tremendous.
Oh yeah,
part.
Ashanti Black, who plays Kevin Richardson in the series. You know, we're sitting at the table reading, and this kid, they do this scene with him and Kylie, who plays Angie Richardson, and they go back and forth in this scene. And when they finish, and you look up, everybody's crying at the table read. And it was this young actor who really put everybody on notice. He put everybody on call. You got to bring your A game. From the door, from the table reading, he brought his A game, and that set the tone.
You know, especially when I think about Corey's part and Jharrel who played that. You know, I mean, for anybody who's seen it, I mean, that was groundbreaking. You know what I mean? The him being in the box, him getting beat up, him getting, and it's crazy because when I just want people who, especially who haven't been away, and especially imagine being innocent, to think about, like, people know you're coming into a jail, and that you're a rapist, but when you're not. So, but they don't know that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So they're like, yo, we don't get you. Oh, yeah, rapist? Especially COs.
Yeah.
You know, and the part he played was, I was like, wow, this kid's fucking incredible.
No, definitely. I mean, you look at Corey's story, and what you get in episode 4 is a fraction of what he actually went through.
Yeah.
You know?
One thing I really admire about you guys, too, is like the family that you become. Especially, I'm sure, obviously, there's money involved. Sometimes when there's money involved, sometimes things go south, too, because they may be like, you may be getting more, or this one may be getting more. But it's like, you know, the bond, you know. I remember when seeing this kid Jharrel win the Emmy and seeing you guys just sit there, was like, I was proud for you, and I know the world was too.
No, definitely. I mean, here we was losing every category, and we was like, oh my God, can we at least get one? And it was Jharrel, so it was worth it. I really thought we was gonna win for best limited series. Yeah, you know, but when we lost that, it was like, I think we done here, and then Jharrel came through and he brought it home. So we was happy about that. You know, it's another part that the kid who played you, what's his name? Oh, the younger one or the older one? The older one. Oh, Freddie. You know, when I seen that part, I remember how much that fucked with me, because I was like, this was a crazy thing. Imagine, and again, it's kind of what I put into the jail sense, but you came home from jail for a crime that you didn't commit. They got it, you know, what's his name? Why am I what's his name? Who confessed? Oh, Reyes. And Reyes confesses. And you come home, and your father, and he has a girlfriend, right? Right? Yeah. But you're living in the house, and I remember like when the girlfriend was like, "Fuck out of it with this rapist in our house," or you were raped. Like, shut up, don't say nothing to it. And the crazy again, it's just crazy to me that a 15-year-old kid being in Central Park gets caught up, and literally, I spoke about this, gets your life taken away from you. Yeah. You know, and innocent, could have been a chance that you could have not been here today. Yeah, definitely. And Reyes, which, has anybody you ever sent this kid a kite and thanked him? Not that I know of. I mean, man. Corey acknowledges him. Yeah. You know, Corey acknowledges him as his angel, because, you know, when you living in hell and somebody finally just stops it for you, you know, it's a breath of fresh air. And so for Corey, you know, Reyes holds a lot of weight in his life. Yeah. You know, it's something he didn't have to do. It's something he didn't have to do. You know, and that day, and again, for people listening, you know, we done episodes with Raymond, so there's a deeper, you know, of his history and growing up. But again, just so people know, that moment where were you when you got the call that you were going to go home? I was in downstate correctional facility. I was back in prison on an unrelated drug charge, and I was down in Franklin Correctional Facility because they had brought me down to ask me about Reyes, but I didn't know who he was. And I wound up calling my father, and it's my father who breaks the story to me and tells me Reyes came forward and he confessed. And he's like, you're going to be going home soon. But I was so institutionalized by that point, I didn't believe him. So I just hung up on him, you know. And it was just, and then it was until afterwards, later on, I started to really think about it, like, damn, did this dude really confess? But this case was so big that I figured that the DA's office would try to make him the sixth man and sweep it under the rug. Sure, say all you did. Yeah, and so my mind was just looking at that, like, this is what they're gonna do. So we're not really gonna go anywhere. You know what I'm saying? And so even my attorneys, shout out to Michael and Roger, they would always be like, well, we're gonna get you home before Christmas. And I was like, yeah, whatever. And it wasn't until I actually walked into that criminal courtroom as when they was like, we told you we're gonna get you home. And I was like, wow. You know, you like I was saying, you had a lot of your childhood taken away from you. New York City kid, you know. And then people look at you now, they see like this, like, you know, Oprah and Ava did a show. You guys won an Emmy. You know, you got the Benz now. You got the fucking watch blinging. You know what I mean? And we come, and New York City, you know, and my brother Diamond D could contest to this, is, you know, we always look good. You know, motherfuckers will come out looking good. You know, fresh, but that doesn't necessarily mean you're good. You know what I mean? Like, you've been through a lot. You know, do you see a therapist, or you ever like go through things where you feel like, you know, because
you've been away. You know, I remember I did some time. You know, sometimes it could fuck with you.
Definitely. I mean, I don't see a therapist, but there's not a second that goes by that I don't think about the case and what happened. And I think that's why I pour so much into victory, into redemption, because every time I do it, it's another win. It's part of the healing process. And I know that we still have long ways to go before we're fully healed. And so every time we do something like a series or a book or something, it contributes to that. Every time we talk to a group of students, it helps with the healing process.
Yeah. You know, you think about what Corey went through, you know, and even looking at him today, you know what I mean? I love how he reps his Jordan outfits.
Yeah. He need a deal.
Yeah, he does. They should give him his own shoe.
They should. He needs his own shoe.
You know, people feel for dude. He was the oldest out of the Central Park Five at that time. That is now the Exonerated Five.
Yeah.
And so he wound up doing the most time.
Yeah, 14 years.
Yeah. You know, and then the other guys, Yusuf, Kevin, and Antron did what, about 7?
Yeah.
About 7 years. You know, you ever think back and say to yourself, you know, and feel like, yo, I was here at one point in time, and now, like, you know how to celebrate your success? Because it's not easy. A lot of people don't know how to do that shit.
No.
You know, you think about it. There was a point in time where you think nobody cared.
Definitely.
And then now it's like you literally can't go. You know, we're at A3C. We go walk the floor. I promise you, people are gonna see you and show love.
Definitely.
But did you ever get a chance to embrace those moments? I mean, I know you bought some things, but meaning personally, how you feel?
No, I mean, because it's like when you go through this whole process of fighting against the system, and it's always full steam ahead, you never really get to enjoy, you know, the victories. And I think that because even now, as we got When They See Us, 16 Emmy nominations, Jharrel Williams won, in my mind, I'm still thinking about what's the next step. What do we do next, right? Because I always said that it took them 2.5 years to charge us, try us, convict us, and send us to prison. But now they got to deal with us for the rest of their lives. And every morning that that person wakes up, Linda Fairstein, Elizabeth Lederer, all those numerous detectives, and they cut on that TV.
They got to hear about it.
They got to hear about it.
You know, Fairstein took a lot of, that's what you got to love about social media. The same thing that gave your second doc, When They See Us, through Ava, social media has attacked her. Mm-hmm. She was on a book, she was a prosecutor of the case. She was on a book tour, shut down the book tour.
Yeah.
You know, has anybody ever heard anything else from?
No. As far as we know, she's somewhere in some rat hole and she's quiet. You know, and that's the way it's supposed to be. I mean, this woman, you know, she wrote 24 novels. I mean, she went on to prosecute numerous cases. She has these titles all across New York State, you know, as this prestigious person. I mean, Law and Order, some of those episodes, they were written based on her experiences. And so this person has flourished the most out of what happened to us. And when it all gets stripped away, it is what it is. You know, this is your bed. Now you have to lay in it. Yeah. You know, and I'm just going to grab my popcorn, just eat, and just watch the show.
God don't like ugly.
All the time.
You know, there's a lot of people that have not similar cases in the sense of rape, but have, you know, done a lot of time. You're starting to see that pop up now.
Yeah.
I've been seeing people who spent 20 years in jail for something they didn't commit. Now they're being released, or the state is giving them, you know, X amount of dollars, which is not a lot.
Yeah.
You know, is it something that you're really trying to do, is like help other people get out, or help like do some more activism? Because I know you speak in a lot of schools. You're literally touring around, speaking at schools and different places about what you went through. But, you know, what would make you happy to do? Like help other people?
Yeah, I mean, definitely. Like, you know, we always been partnered with the Innocence Project, right? And we're trying to get legislation passed to take away the immunity for prosecutors, right? Because they got to be held accountable for their actions. And then what we also do now with the whole speaking, as far as going to colleges and high schools, is that we're trying to play chess at this stage in our lives, where we're trying to plant those seeds into our young so that somebody can come up with the idea of how we can defeat this system. Even if we're not alive to see it, we planting it. And if it grows and it bears fruit then, and it happens, I would like somebody to say, yeah, Ray helped me with that.
I'll take
it.
What's the wildest thing? You know, you went from down and out to up and high, man, and finding a balance. To me, I think is the most important thing. But what's been the most, crazy thing that bugged you out? Where you like? Because I know obviously. You showed me the picture when you went with Robert De Niro, and I was like, man, this fucking guy's hanging out with Robert De Niro now. Again, we asked before you hug Oprah, you see how she smelled. You said she smelled good. But
we got Diamond D in the building.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But what has really like surprised you, shocked you? Because you've done a lot. Look, you've been able to move down here to Atlanta.
To move to Atlanta.
Nice home, be
Beautiful.
able to treat yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like, what has really made you say to myself, like, nothing will take away what happened, but kind of like, hey, listen, it's a lot of wow factors. One of them is like just the constant love that we receive all across the country, all across the world. Like when you think that, Ava even told us, she said, Netflix streams in 194 countries. And for me, I'm like, okay, all right. But when you actually see the impact of, how you get the tweets and people DM you and you can't even read the language, right? But it's positive because there's a fist raised, there's hearts on it. And so it's stuff like that. Like you can see the reach of how far our story has gone. That's for me, that's a wow factor. Also, like I stated earlier with my T-shirt, to see it travel and take a life of its own. And then you have other wow factors, when Cardi B stops you, hey, what's up? Yeah. You like, wow, Cardi B. And I think another one for me was I was able to, that same time when I met Oprah, I sat in front of, I was sitting at a table and it was Cicely Tyson, Gayle King, Oprah, Niecy Nash, Ava DuVernay. And to see that black excellence, to see our women, and I was like, wow, this is a moment. You got to cherish these moments. And they're here for you, right? They're here for me and the brothers. So stuff like that is wow. Yeah. Especially having a daughter, I know that, having a daughter, teenage daughter, it's a roller coaster ride. Yeah, and I'm sure like it's funny because to have Cardi know who you are for your daughter at the time it's special now. That may be more special for your daughter. Yeah, what has it been like with your daughter? You missed some time in your life with and I remember, rest in peace to your mom. Your mom passed away when you were away.
While I was in prison. Yeah,
and what has been some things you've been able to do with your daughter to celebrate that family life? I see you always traveling with her.
Yeah. I mean, me and her, like, our bond has become extremely close. And I think it's due to, like the Cardis and Lil Tay and, we're sitting in front of them and she's like, oh my God. And I don't even know who Lil Tay is at the moment. And, but I think that stuff has given me some type of credibility with my child, right? Where she's like, well, my dad is a hero. He's a celebrity. And it has definitely gelled our relationship extremely 100%. Like she comes home and I don't even have to ask her how her day is. Like she literally would sit down and just tell me her whole day. And I just sit there and listen. And I don't the way I parent is I don't say I told you so. I don't do none of that. But we just have these great conversations. And now, she's 15. She's trying to learn how to drive. She's moving more into her independence, which is dope, right? My child goes downstairs, she cooks her own meals. I ain't got to do it, I'm like, this is nice, And but then she asks us, can I get a little brother or something? I'm like, no. Yeah. You're going too far. I can't. At my age, a 2-year-old. That'll kill me.
Yeah, don't. I press the restart button.
Yeah,
that shit is not easy. I got a 20-year-old and a 5-year-old. That shit is like night. It's like night and day.
So that's rough.
But it's cool. My daughter's like, "Hey, Dad, I need a card to put on for my Uber account," and my son is like, "Get me a dinosaur or some shit." So. But it's a blessing, man. I think at the end of the day, no matter what you go through, family and friends that become family, and we're in we're in a state of mind where you can meet people here at A3C. You can meet people through what you've been through. You can meet people social media where like they can become like family.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, I say that all the time. I always use that hashtag once my friends become family because I mean it. You know, it's like you don't have to. Family is important. It's the backbone of a lot of things, but friends and people that you associate with yourself can become that as well. Yeah. We're almost out of time. I don't know if we want to take a question or two. Maybe I'll turn this mic around if somebody wants a question or two. Anybody want to ask a question? No, don't be shy. Don't be shy.
I guess not. There you go.
Last question. What's going on, man?
What's up, man?
I'm born and raised in Atlanta. I know a lot of folks move to Atlanta from New York and all over the place. Why Atlanta?
I came to visit Atlanta, right? Because Antron lives out of Atlanta. He's been out here over 10 years, and I came to visit Atlanta, and it was like more bang for your buck. That was number one. That I was just like, wow, so you guys get this much house for this price? So to me, that was a no-brainer. And then also, it worked out perfectly for me because in the doc, I talk about how I was always in my dad's house and I was in my room. My room was the size of a cell, and that's where I felt my solitude. And so now, me living in Atlanta, where I live at, my whole house feels like that. So now I traded in my room for a bigger house, but the solitude, the peace and quiet, where I could just sit there and just think, can't put a price on that. You know, compared to New York City where you hear, hey, get out the street, gunshots, you know, all that. So I don't have to worry about that here. So it's good.
Yeah, the suburbs. That's the only thing that stinks is I feel like people have been saying that you get a lot of bang for your buck in Atlanta for a long time. I feel like that could end soon because you know once somebody knows something, you know, it's like then it's all gone. You know, it's like it happens and it becomes saturated.
And it happens because even where I'm at now, it's starting to get busy. A lot of traffic. I'm like, oh, come on, man, I got to move again. You know, might move further up. So yeah, definitely.
Hey, listen, man, it's always special when you get to sit down and hear from you. I think not only me, but the world is excited to be able to see people shine the light on you guys. For everything you've been through, you deserve a lifetime of love and people to spread that positivity and also just acknowledge you guys, man. And it's crazy to me that when we did the episode with Combat years ago, watch everything unfold. It's like, you know what I mean. It's been beautiful to see for everybody involved, and you can't ever get the time back, you know what I mean. But I think the time you spend now is special, man. So, I'm excited for that. I mean, one day, hopefully, we'll get some of the people that keep on not acknowledging that you guys are innocent, you know, to acknowledge it. Now, we don't need them to.
Yeah.
But
But it'd be all right.
But it would be all right.
Yeah, it'd be all right. We'll take it.
Trumpito.
Yeah.
You know?
And I think that's the thing, like, that's what keeps us going too. Like at the end of the day, it's easy when somebody acknowledges that they did wrong and they apologize, right? You gotta you gotta say, all right, let's just move on. But when they constantly say you're guilty and they constantly say they did the best job possible, it just keeps the fire.
Yeah, especially that he put, at the time, for people who may not know, Trump put out two or three
85 full page
ads to get them the death sentence, and it's been proven, and Reyes came through, and it's still nothing, but like I said, the internets love you, the world loves you, and I appreciate you. Thanks for being here. A3C, Raymond Santana, Premium Pete Show.
Thank you.
Cheer.
Yeah, but this damn Atlanta traffic.